You've been learning the wrong way your entire life. No, seriously. You read a book, watch a lecture, take some notes, and a few days later, you forget almost everything. Sounds familiar? What if I told you that there's a way to learn 3 times faster, retain more, and actually master new skills without wasting hours? Let's break it down the simple way. Imagine this. You spend 3 hours studying for an exam. You highlight, underline, and reread your notes. But when the test comes, your mind goes blank. Why? Because passive learning is a trap. Here's how your brain actually works. When you just read or highlight something, your brain doesn't actually see it as important. It never forces you to recall the information, so it never gets stored in long-term memory. Instead, you need something called active recall. This is how top students, doctors, and memory champions retain massive amounts of information. Don't just read. Cover your notes, ask yourself a question, and try to recall the answer from memory. If you can't, you never really learned it. Even some of the smartest people in the world use this technique. Elon Musk, for example, constantly tests his own understanding by asking himself challenging questions while learning new subjects. If he struggles to answer, he knows exactly where he needs to focus. Richard Feynman, a Nobel Prize-winning physicist, discovered something brilliant. If you can't explain something simply, you don't actually understand it. Most people think they understand something, but when they try to explain it, they get stuck. This is where the Feynman technique comes in. Here's what you do. Take a complex topic and explain it as if you're teaching a 5-year-old. No big words, no complicated jargon, just simple, clear language. If you get stuck, that means you don't actually understand it well enough yet. Go back, simplify it even more, and try again. This method forces you to fill in the gaps in your own knowledge. This is exactly how Bill Gates learns. When he reads books or studies new topics, he takes notes as if he were going to teach the subject to someone else. By simplifying what he learns, he makes sure he truly understands the core concepts. Most people cram. They try to learn everything in one single night, hoping it sticks. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Your brain is designed to forget things it doesn't actually use. This is what people call the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Within 24 hours, you forget 70% of what you learned unless you review it strategically. Here's the fix. Spaced repetition. Instead of studying for 3 hours straight, break it up into multiple sessions over time. Study for 30 minutes today, review it again in 2 days, then a week later, then a month later. Each time you review, the forgetting curve resets and your memory gets stronger. This method is actually used by medical students who need to memorize huge amounts of information. Instead of cramming, they use flashcards with spaced repetition software like Ankai, helping them retain critical knowledge for years. So here's how you can learn 3 times faster. Use active recall, explain things simply with the Feynman technique, and space out your learning. Here's a quick recap. Step 1. Active recall. Helps you test yourself instead of just reading. Step 2. The Feynman technique. Forces you to simplify what you learn. And step 3. Spaced repetition. Strengthens your memory over time. Use all these 3 together, and you'll master anything faster than ever before. And here's one final tip. The best way to solidify your learning is by teaching it to someone else. Studies show that when you explain a topic to another person, your brain builds even stronger connections, making the knowledge stick. Pick a skill you're learning right now and drop a comment below. How are you going to apply these techniques? And if you found this valuable, hit the subscribe button for more simple strategies that actually work.